everybody, She Detector here. So today I am metal detecting at the island again. I was at this island last weekend and well, we're back again this weekend. And it's kind of an alright day. It's overcast right now, which I didn't think it was supposed to be, but it is. Now last weekend all the boats were on that side of the island. This weekend they're all on this side, which is actually the side that I was metal detecting at. But it's just because of the way the winds are blowing in today, so it's less rough on this side. But I'm out here today with the MX Sport, the White's MX Sport. Alright, very nice. I'm also out here today with Rex, my scoop. Rex is the 8-inch T-Rex scoop, and I've got the Raptor handle. I've also got my digger pouch and my gloves, and I've got Elsie, my pinpointer, out here today. Here you go. Now, I had dipped the tip of this in Plasti Dip probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Well, 3 weeks ago, I think. And I've not used it since I dipped it. So I'll make sure to use that today because I know a bunch of people were curious on how it performs with the Plasti Dip on it. So I will be using that today. But I hunted out here last weekend with the MX Sport, and a couple of y'all posted questions about it. And so I wrote those questions down in this little piece of paper, and I plan on addressing them today. So, you know, we'll see. A bunch of them were honestly in regards to like the ground balancing and the salt track. So I will be trying out a couple of questions that you guys asked and showing that. This way I can get those answered for you. So, what else? I guess that's pretty much about it really for now. Oh, and I got the White's MX Sport from Kellyco. Now I don't get to keep it. I'm just trying it out for a couple of weeks and testing it out, seeing how it handles, you know, different environments. This is the second time that I've hunted with it, and both times will be at the beach. Just because I know, honestly, that's what a lot of people have questions about, how it performs in saltwater environments. So yeah. All right, so I'm gonna get set up and then I'll get to answering some of these questions. Alright guys, so here's my list of questions. You'll have to excuse my chicken scratch handwriting. So one thing I wanted to point out is that a couple of y'all told me that the copper pennies ring up like clad dimes. And if you watch my video from last weekend, a lot of the times the MX Sport was saying I was about to dig a penny, when in fact it ended up being a dime. So that makes sense. I guess it actually happens on a couple of different machines. So I wrote that down. Let's see. So now, for right now, I don't have headphones in the White's MX Sport because I wanted y'all to be able to hear it. I also plan on testing it. It does have an external speaker right there. So I wanted to try testing it in the water, underwater, to see if I can hear the external speaker while I'm underwater. So we'll give that a try. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. All right, so it's automatically in beach mode because that's what I was in last weekend. And it looks like my light's on, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. Oh, whoops, I held it down too long. Okay, so there we go. So now my light is off. And that, I think that'll probably save some battery too. So, yeah, okay, so one of the questions y'all had asked is, while overloading, will it auto ground grab? Because in the beach mode, it automatically turns the salt track on. And it's just kind of, you know, doing whatever it does because it's in a saltwater environment. But if I have my sensitivity, see right now it's at 8. So if I have my sensitivity high, it overloads like that. A couple of y'all had asked, will it try to correct itself while it's overloading? I don't know, so we'll go ahead and try it out. I'm gonna drop it down to 5, and we'll put it in the water and see if it corrects itself. So I'm waiting for it to overload right now. There it goes. Alright, so did you guys see that? So it overloaded, but then it looks like it corrected itself. So let's go farther out. So it's not doing it now. Alright. There. So I dropped down the sensitivity. So it looks like in maybe about, I don't know, 8 inches of water, it looks like it was able to stop overloading. But every time a wave came, it went back to overloading. And then it looks like once I got out into deeper water, even if there wasn't a wave, it was still overloading. So that answers that question. While overloading, will it auto ground grab? Kind of. Not enough for you to be able to go out farther and still have your sensitivity up higher. Now with the, like I said, with the beach mode, it automatically has the salt track on and it automatically does a ground balance. But I'm going to see if I can ground balance it manually and see if maybe that'll let me have a higher sensitivity while I'm in the water. So I'm going to go out into the water again and try and do a manual ground balance. So I'm about a foot in. Okay, so to do the ground balance, you hold down the track button and then pump the coil, which is kind of hard because the water is moving all around. So we'll give it a try. All right, there. So I did the ground balance. Now I'm going to increase my sensitivity up again. No. Nope, still not letting me do it. All right, we'll try it again. All right, so we ground balance. Let's try it again. Nope. All right, so that answers that question. Come back up here. And I'm trying to do it. I'm getting my paper all wet. Whatever. All right, so that answered, let's see, that answered that one. It doesn't really do it enough for you to be able to get any benefit out of it. I did the manual ground grab. It automatically does the lock tracking, and it's actually already locked. That lets me know that it's locked. So even with the locked tracking and the manual ground balance, it still overloads when you go past, when you go 4 and higher. So ground balance, I can do that up here. There. All right, so I did that up here. And up here, I can increase my sensitivity all the way to 10 if I want, and it's fine. So we'll keep it at 3 for now. Let's see. Now, salt track. A couple of y'all had asked, what is the salt track? It's a setting on the machine that lets the machine be able to operate in a highly mineralized area. So obviously, on the beach, the salt is very mineralized, so it's going to make most machines freak out. In beach mode, it automatically turns salt tracking on, but you can turn it on in all of the other modes. So like say you're in coin and relic mode, but you're hunting like out in, I don't know, I guess maybe the desert. I think I've heard sometimes that the desert can be pretty alkaline. You can turn on salt tracking and it'll help your machine not freak out while you're metal detecting in that area, you know what I mean? So that's what the salt track is. I did the ground balance. And a couple of these are just for my own thing, like I wrote down harness. Last weekend, when I was hunting this area of the beach, my arm was getting really tired from swinging the machine. So I might look into getting a harness Yeah, so I just kind of wrote down some stuff and like small jewelry bits. I have some little tiny pieces of jewelry parts at home that I'm going to try and see if the MX Sport can pick them up, because they're like really tiny. I'm like little bitty tiny pieces. So I'm going to try that. Let's see. Threshold. Now last week I didn't mess with any of the settings other than my sensitivity, but I didn't check the threshold either. So it looks like it might have been at 1. Yeah, so my threshold was at 1 last weekend. I know y'all asked that too. I might play with that a little bit today, I'm not sure. Let's see, we'll go ahead and look at the menu and settings. I know a couple of y'all had asked to see that a little bit more. So now with the MX Sport, if you hit the plus or minus button, it's going to affect your sensitivity. And that's just right without having to hit anything else. The up and down arrows is going to affect your threshold. This is for your pinpoint. If you hit it, it has your pinpoint, so it actually turns it on for you, and it stays on. Granted, I don't have a target here, so there you go. And it tells you how close you are. You see that? Depth. So this is saying 6 inches away. 1.5. There you go. I'm right on it. There we go. So that's if you hit it. And then you hit it again and it turns it off. Now you can hit and hold it if you want. It's up to you. And then you let go and it goes back off. Alright. Obviously this is the on and off button, but it also controls your light. So if you hit it, it turns your light on. I don't need the light today, so I'll just leave it off. The tracking, this is where you can turn it on and off. So like right now, it's off, because all it says is track. Now I don't know how that'll affect the performance of it. Okay, but you can turn it back on, there. Okay, so options. Now you go through your options and it'll start taking you through all the different options. So there's volume, and then you use the up and down buttons to scroll through them. So you can reset to factory settings. You can adjust how it does the measurement in inches or in metric. Here's your light, your frequency. Now the MX Sport lets you be able to change your frequency by like 1 or 2 options. There we go. So if you're hunting near other detectorists and your machines are clashing, you can change your frequency to try and prevent that. And then here's where you go through the programs. So you go change your program, relic, high trash, prospecting, and you can see the discrimination changes for each program. So all metal, there's no discrimination set right now. Coin and jewelry, there's some. Relic, you still have some, but not quite as high. High trash, look at that. It discriminates almost all of your gold out. Prospecting, nothing. And then beach. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there we go. Audio mod. So I'm not quite sure what that one is. I'll need to look in the book for that. Reg volume. Now I believe this is the volume that your discriminated items will come in at. So like right now, my discriminated items, I don't hear them at all. 10, I believe this will put it at half the volume of anything else. And then 20 is the same volume. You're gonna hear everything. Well, maybe not. All right. So it goes up to 70 on the rejected volume. So I'll need to go look at that. Tone. Okay, tone. Now a couple of y'all had asked that, I think. I don't think I wrote it down. But in beach mode, it defaults to 4 tones. Now with the MX Sport, you can go up, whoops, you can go 1 tone, 2 tone, 4 tone, 8 tone, and 20 tone. So here, we'll see 4, 8, 20, and that's it. So beach, it defaults to 4 tones. There we go, but you can go all the way up to 20. Discrimination, here's where you can adjust it, which I do believe I'm going to do. I think I want to discriminate only the -20 and below. So we'll turn that off. So to turn it off, you put your little bar where you want and then you hit the pinpoint button. There we go. So now it's only going to discriminate anything in the iron area. I might still get some iron because you see right here, -20 to 0 is iron and gold. So, you know, I'm going to be digging a little bit of iron here and there. And then we're back to threshold and volume. Volume goes up to 30. So right now I'm full volume. Now it's not very loud, at least not being out here on the beach. Yeah, now it could be, well, I was gonna say it could be because it's not anything good, I guess you could say. But we'll keep it up at 30 and see how it runs. Volume, and then you can reset to factory settings. So we'll go back to threshold, there we go. All right, so what else? Now I am going to be using chest mount today. Right now I'm doing head mount. I will be switching to chest mount so you guys can see the screen a little bit better. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that I wrote down. So, yeah, so I guess what we'll do is I'll just start hunting this area. Now this little cutout here is where I found all those coins last weekend. There's that pipe that was sticking out. So there has been a little bit more erosion, but this is where I found all those coins. So I'll be hunting in here again. And like I said, I'm going to go without the headphones for now, because I want you guys to be able to hear it. Now, if it's not going to be loud enough to hear it, then I'm just going to go grab the headphones, because between the waves and the wind, I don't know if even I'll be able to hear the machine. So, yeah, so let me get set up and we'll start doing some detecting. Alright guys, so I got my first target here. So, MX Sport is saying it's maybe a quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and use my pinpoint. Actually, I was over it when I turned it on, so turn it on. So in theory, it should be right there, about 3.5 inches down, right at the tip. So, go ahead and scoop that out. Okay, well, not so much. Yep, okay, so I missed it. So I thought the pinpoint was at the tip. It's not. So I'm thinking it's right here in the middle then. So we'll try again. Now I didn't go down very deep. There you go. All right. There it is, to see it. Alright. Alright, so that was an old quarter, so it was right. MX Sports said it was a quarter. Alright, now I had planned on using my pinpoints here, but I saw it and I didn't need to, so. There we go. Alright. Alright guys, so I got another target here. It's jumping around a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and increase my sensitivity. I'm going to go ahead and put it on boost. Now, last weekend I put it on boost and it was very chattery, so it's all the way cranked open. So I'm just going to run it on 10 so you guys can hear it and see if it's chattery this weekend like it was last weekend. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear it, honestly. So it's right in there. Alright, so I missed it. So I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but it's making an awful lot of noise. There you go. So we got another quarter. Whoop. All right. So let's see. So I'm getting stuff saying that there's still stuff here, so we'll pull out Elsie so you guys can see. Oh, I hope you can see. I think I'm right there. It looks really good, very nice. So, all right, I'm just gonna kind of check everything. Just to make sure I'm not missing anything, because the detector was very chattery, like I said, on 10. So I think we're good there. Yeah, I think we're good. See, looks very nice. Yeah. Alright, so we'll try again. I think there's still something here, maybe. See, every time I touch, my sensitivity to 8 and check again. Yeah. We got a penny in here. Now I dropped my sensitivity down to 3 because I was hunting in the surf area a little bit and I didn't want my machine to overload. Alright, got this big old clump of bush here, so I see it. Yeah. There we go. So that was ringing up as like a penny. Alright guys, so here are my finds for today's hunt at the island. So I found a couple of coins. Now this was with the MX Sport along with a couple of these. I think this and this here is actually a piece of a knife, a butter knife. That, and I think, I don't remember if I found this with it also, but these are the coins that I found with the MX Sport. So I've got 3 quarters, and I believe these are 3 pennies. And this is a token. It says no cash value. I don't think there's actually any writing on the other side. I'm going to run it through the sonic cleaner a little bit and see, but I think it's just an eagle and some stars around the edge. But so this is what I found with the MX Sport. Now I brought Beaker out to the island too because I wanted to get some major depth. And Beaker is my Garrett Sea Hunter MK2 or Mark II, and it's a pulse induction machine. So it goes way deeper than VLF machines. So I took Beaker out, and that is a little button or whatever. And these are all the coins that I found with Beaker. So there's a substantial difference in coins. These were all much deeper than those over there. So over here I found 3 quarters. I believe these are all nickels. These two are pretty cruddy. But 5 nickels, 3 dimes, and I believe these are all pennies. Yeah. And then I found the 5 pennies. So again, these were all much deeper than these coins over here. So I'll be running these through my sonic cleaner as well and try and get some dates off of them. Oh, and I also found this guy right here. So this was a dog steak. Now I found this with Beaker, and I believe, and it wasn't very deep, it was maybe 3 inches deep. So the MX Sport definitely saw this, but I believe it discriminated it out because of where my discrimination settings were set at. So I did not see this with the MX Sport, but it's because I discriminated it. So yeah, so overall it was a great hunt. I'm glad I took both machines out there just so I could kind of see, you know, really, I guess, how deep the MX Sport can go. And it doesn't go that deep. It doesn't go deep compared to the Sea Hunter. So, which I fully expected that. I already knew that going into it just because my Sea Hunter's pulse induction. So, I was really kind of bummed that I didn't find any jewelry, any rings or anything. But, yeah. And I know in the beginning of the video I had said that I was going to play with the MX Sport without the headphones and in the water, underwater, but the waves were really kind of kicking. They were probably about 3 to 4 foot seas today. So I wasn't able to get underwater and stay underwater without getting pushed all around, so I really wasn't able to test it. But honestly, I found a target in the water. The water was a little bit above waist deep, and the MX Sport was completely underwater. And I couldn't hear it, but I could occasionally feel the vibrations when it was making a sound underwater. But it was just, I couldn't even locate that target. I had to bail on it because the waves were just completely tossing me around. So I didn't get to do that. I'm going to try again. I'll take it out again next weekend and see if I can't. Maybe the water's going to be a little bit more cooperative with me and I can test that little aspect. What else? Overall, it was a good day. The weather turned out to be nice once the clouds moved away and such. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying the MX Sport, and I hope I answered everybody's questions as far as the salt tracking and the pinpointing and everything else that y'all mentioned. If you have another question or if you're curious about something, just go ahead and post it in the comments. I read all of them and I'll write it down and I'll address it in my next hunt. So yeah, alright. Again, I got the MX Sport from Kellyco, and I've included a link down below where you can look specifically at the MX Sport. I've also included a link that takes you to Kellyco's homepage on their website. So if you're interested in looking at the MX Sport or you just want to do some window shopping, definitely use the links below because it actually it tracks the number of people that go to the Kellyco's website from my YouTube channel. So definitely use that, and you know, the more traffic they get, then the more likely it is that we'll be able to get some kind of she detector coupon code maybe in the future. I know a couple of y'all have asked about that, so definitely use the link below if you're going to go poke around on Kellyco's website. And what else? Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you're on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, definitely check me out on there. Just search for me, She Detector, and I should pull up, or you can use the link that I've included below. And if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the comment section. And other than that, I guess I will see you guys later.